There we go. How are we doing? Today, if you didn't see the title, we're going to be making our first knife. Now, this knife will be made out of mild steel. We're not going to go to high carbon yet because that's getting ahead of the show. So, we're just going to do mild steel. Right now, I have a little piece red hot in the fire, and we're going to jump right to it. So, let's get into it. Alright, so what we're going to be doing is we actually just took a small piece of mild steel, just like a little flat stock. Let me get it real quick. So we're going to be starting from this. This is just a piece of flat stock. It's not very thick, but this will work really well for a knife. We're going to start this off. We're going to start doing some few heats, and then we'll make our first knife. Let's go! Alright, so our first step is we're going to bring it over to the far side of the anvil, and what we're going to do, we're going to make a point. Okay? So what I'm doing, this will be the first part of the knife. I'm hitting up at the top first, just like this, and hitting on the flat, so we don't get any mushroom out. Then I even come over here on top of the point, and help to bring that down a little bit. So now we got a little bit better of a point. We're going to keep on refining it. Next heat. Just like this. Alrighty. So, here we go again. We're going to take it out, and basically what we're going to do is going to keep on making that point. Refining this a lot more. Now what this is going to be is our cutting edge of the knife. So, when we bevel it, or when we make the cutting edges of it, this will be the bottom. So we have just this kind of shape. Next step is we're going to start making some more of the back parts of the tang. So, let's get her. Alrighty, so I'm at the far edge of the anvil, the corner of the anvil, and what we're going to do is we're going to make the tang. Alright, so I'm going to bring it to about right there. I'm going to hit right on top of it. And what that does is we make a little indent for where that knife handle is going to sit. Just like this. So now we have this shape. Maybe a little bit hard to see because we just got to keep on refining it. So let's hit on the flat parts real quick, then I'll come back over here. Just like this. Got a little bit of a miss hit, but that's the basic shape of our knife that we're going to go for. Alrighty, so we're back over here at the far edge, and I'm just going to keep on hitting this down. We're starting to make the knife right now, so I'm going to work back a little bit, just like this. Just keep on working this. Now what I'm doing is I just made basically a shoulder, just like how we did when we made the nails. Just made a shoulder for this knife, okay? So now we can hit this flat. Just like this. Poofed out. Just like that. And that'll be our knife profile. Alrighty, so we're back at the hardy cutoff. What I'm going to do is basically just cut this knife shape off. Now, if you are at home, you don't have a big, forge setup, but you have this little whatever, you're not able to make, huge knives or whatnot. This little just mild steel kind of practice is pretty awesome for you. You're able to do this kind of stuff, little easy knives out of mild steel, would still work, as I said. So, if you don't, have a lot of tools and stuff, you don't have a lot of whatever, this little thing can be made very easily. However, viewer discretion, fire and all this stuff is obviously very dangerous, so don't do it unless you've been specially trained or you know the proper fire procedures, because yes, this stuff is very dangerous, so be careful. But other than that, if you're careful, have a ton of fun, because this is a ton of fun. Alright, so you see we kind of got kind of a smallish handle. That's okay, because we're going to draw this out, okay? So I'm going to plant it right here, and I'm just going to keep working just like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this out to pretty much a long stem that we're going to curl around to a handle you can use. This won't require any like wood handle, so this will make like a good, little utility knife. And that's what this is for. Because if you don't have, kind of stuff, you just have this. This will work. Just swing around hot metal. Ah! Okay. Don't do that either. Alright, so basically, for this next step, you're just basically just doing this. There really is no reason to watch 15 minutes of me doing this. So, I am just going to do this in a time lapse. So next heat, we'll turn it off. Throw us into a time lapse. Cool. Okay, so if you have no idea what I'm doing, that's okay. Basically what I'm doing is I'm drawing out the stem of the back of the knife, and this will be part of the handle, okay? What we're wanting to get to is this kind of design of a knife, okay? This is a bit rambunctious, but this is what we're going to want to do. This is like a Viking knife or a blacksmith shop knife. Basically what this is a step like we have at that knife and a big curl. So with that one, we're not going to have that big of a curl because if you do this at home, we're not gonna have you practice. I'm not gonna have you we're just gonna do this first curl. Okay, we're gonna do it one by one, just something like that. Curl around. It'll be a nice, little finger hammer, finger knife. It'll be fine. A little utility knife. But we're gonna kind of slowly ease into it, and then once we start getting, we're gonna start doing this. We're gonna add a handle to it, a wood handle. So it's just gonna slowly get into it, so you can slowly get practice with it. Okay? Cool. Drawing out the size. I'm just gonna kind of up. I'm going to round it out. So what I'm going to do is I've been hitting on the square. I'm actually going to tilt it diagonally and hit on the diagonals to round it out. Go on one side, and you don't need to do it on two sides, right? Because the anvil's doing the other side of it. Just like this. Kind of smooth this up a little bit. And basically what I'm doing, I'm just going to curl this over. All right? So, come over to here. Leave it just like that. A little keychain knife. Just like this. Now this will be a nice, little obviously keychain knife. You can handle it, but as I said, we're not going to get into the bigger stuff until we master small stuff. So I'm going to stick this back in the forge, and we're going to do the next step. All right? Cool. Alrighty, so we're going to grab it out, and I'm going to do that curl. So it's already hot at the tip. So, let me cool it down a little bit so you can see. We'll come over here, we're going to curl the end. Just like how we did when we were making them. And then we're going to come back in and make it sit up there. I'll leave this curl open. Just like this. So now we kind of got a little bit more of an artistry. So this will come like here, just like you said. Just like we did. So I'm going to curl this. Cool. What I'm going to do, I'm going to cool this point. Just like how we did. I'll keep this kind of darker. I'm not going to get it red hot. Throw this over and then bring this in. Let's get it more hot. Alright, so I'm going to cool this curl down again. And then pick up my hammer and then just hit this down right into that point. Just like this. So we get something that looks a little bit like that. And that just adds to the artistry of it. So, next step, we're going to flip it around and we're going to start forging out this knife a little bit. Now, alrighty. So I'm going to bring it out. And what we're going to do is we're going to start what's called beveling. Now, beveling is when it's basically the cutting edge of the knife. So when we hit at the sides right here, I don't know if you can see, but I'm going to hit basically at the edges, on the far edges of the knife. And what this is going to do is going to bring out the material a little more, and it's going to make this thinner than obviously the thickest part. And on the back, you can see it's still pretty thick, but that's a lot thinner. So we're going to work this down, and I'll come over here. You can see a little better. Right there. All the way up. Now we have a thin knife profile, and in the back we have it pretty thick, just like this. So I'm going to keep on working on this. I can even jump over to the profile and work on this a little bit. Just like that. We'll do, we're going to do one more heat, and then I'm going to show you how to quench this mild steel piece. Yeah, let's do that. It's hot. I'm going to take it out, and basically what I'm doing, I'm going to start straightening it. Just kind of slowly work on these profiles here. Whoop. Work on the tops of it to get it round. Nice and easy hits. We're not trying to move material, okay? We're just trying to get this profile in. What you want to do is you want to get this as close as finished possible without, you want to save grind time, okay? So when we start doing the high carbon steel knives, save grind time. Alright, so it's smooth, it's straight, looks awesome. I'm going to stick this back in, and I'm going to talk about quenching. Now, quenching mild steel versus high carbon steel. One, mild steel, there's no reason to quench it. I could have legit quenched it right then and there, not have been a problem. It wouldn't have added to its strength, and it would have taken away anything. The only reason why I'm heating it up again is because it looks cool. That's the only reason why. However, when we get to high carbon steel, it's a totally different process. I'm not going to explain that process right now because we're going to have a special guest come in to explain that in a good way. Alright, so right now, basically what I'm doing, I'm going to take it out, dip it in the water, call it good, and we'll cap off this video with kind of the end kind of shots of it. Alright? Cool. Just going to quench in the water. Basically just shaking it around until it gets nice and cool. And then there we go. So this is our little keychain knife. Now this probably won't work well, it's not very comfortable, but for first, a little knife that you can make, this is really good. It gets you good practice with the beveling process and kind of the curling process when we do the other stuff. But, as a little, little knife, yeah, a little like, whatever, like, what is that? When you carve stuff. Whittler knife or whatever that is? This will work good. So, we're going to go up to the anvil and we're going to do end shots. Sweet. Okay, so, we've made our knife. We've finished it. Now, this is obviously not a knife you would usually normally want to have in a like a normal setting, just because it's not the handle's really small and whatnot. But we made it for a keychain, so we're making the keychain knife, which is what the video is. But it's also a knife. It's also going to work really well. So when we start making knives, we start making bigger stuff. We're going to start from small, like this kind of small stuff, and then we're going to go up to like the bigger stuff, So when we start getting to the high carbon steel stuff, we're going to have the whole quenching idea come in, the whole like artistry kind of stuff, and then we'll add wood handles to it as well. So we're going to do all of that, but the reason why we started with this little, EDC, everyday carry knife, is because it's going to get you practice with the knife. So if you have a home forge, go on, try it out. If you don't, get one safely. If you can't, keep watching videos, and you can forge in your heart with me. That's a little weird. Don't do that. We may just have to edit that part out.